KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome once again to the World Tour featuring Flight Simulator 2 by Sublogic for the Commodore 64. Why? Because why not? It's kind of fun going back to these old retro flight sims. So that is what we're going to do. And we're going to go ahead and talk about our next flight. Oh, by the way, just want to let you guys know that I am also live streaming these flights on Twitch days, weeks before they actually turn into episodes. So if you'd like to join me on the live streams and chat with me and interact while we're doing the flight, I'd love it. I would love it if you would come by and check those out. You can get there by going to twitch.tv/KillerGamer. Remember, that's KILR, just like Killer TV. So yeah, follow me over there on Twitch. And you'll get notified when I go online with a flight sim or another game. I typically am going to be doing flight sims either on Thursday for Throwback Thursday or Friday for Flight Simulator Friday, and maybe sometimes on Saturday for Sim Saturday. So there's a chance it could be on either one of those 3 days. So yeah, come by, follow. And as far as YouTube, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube, so that way you know when new videos are released. All right, so now that we got all the official business out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the flight that we are going to be going to, or well, you know, the destination that we're going to anyway. So we're right here at Benton Harbor. That is where we last left off. And we are going to be going here to Kalamazoo. Not too far of a flight, actually. Oh, wait a minute. That's not where we're going. Psych. I was just kidding. We are going here. We are going here to WK Kellogg Regional. I don't think it's called that anymore. But as far as the Commodore 64 Sublogic Flight Simulator, that is what we're going to call it, because I guess we're flying back in time or something along those lines. So anyway, let's go ahead and get our radios set up here. I don't know if you noticed any of those. One of them was Battle Creek for the nav radio. So let's just go ahead and tune in Battle Creek. That is 109.4. Now these get to be a little fun as far as changing the nav radios. So on a Commodore 64 emulator, you're going to have to do the tab key, or whatever you have the control key set to, because it's not control, but tab in 1, and then you see how this is changing here. So the greater than, less than sign, as you would guess, is going to point in the direction that you want to go. So your period or comma. So what did we say? It was 109.4. Okay, so the second part here, you got to do tab in, and then you can go ahead and change this here. 109.4. So it looks like it's a 52.5-mile flight. We'll go ahead and center the VOR on that, which is going to be tab V. And as you would guess it, the greater than less than sign. And we just change that there until it kind of centers. Or just hold it down. All right. I don't think it's going to be 090. Nope. Probably 727476. Okay, so that is the that is the heading that we're going to be going to. And let me go back and let's take a look at the map again. So I don't think we need to tune in KILR. I think we're going to be fine just tuning in Battle Creek because it looks like it's right in the center there of WK Kellogg Regional. But it might help if we find out what the altitude is there. So if we go down here to Battle Creek. All right, so, we got ATIS information too. So we'll tune that in. So 954 is the altitude. And there is an ILS. That'll be useful. We'll see if we can tune into that. But let's tune into the ATIS and see what they have to say. That's 127.25. Oh, and there's VASI on 31 and 5, although not on 23. But that is okay. All right. Needed to turn that off there. Okay. So we were saying that the COM was 127.25, so that's going to be tab C. You can see where this is going. You can see where this is going. 127 and then 25. There we go. And we don't have comms yet, but it will probably tune in once we get close. And then we can tune in the ILS once we get there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get things started here. And we got to turn on the magnetos, and that is, again, tab M, and then 5 puts it through start. Now you can do the one. You can do 1 for left and 2 for right. 3. I forget which ones they were, but it was like left, right. I think 1 is off, but that's it. All right, so let's get this puppy started. There is no numerical keypad on the Commodore 64, so everything is in the center of the keyboard. So G is your center key, and then R, and it's worn out on my keyboard, but the one the one underneath it is those are your ailerons. Sorry, elevators. F and H are your ailerons. Y and N, that's flaps. Period and comma, I think that's the throttle. No, it isn't. Okay, it's the period and the semicolon. That's what it is. And rudder is M and C, I think. Let's make sure. Yep. Okay, we're good. And in case you're wondering where we are, if you're just curious if we're in the area that we say we are, we'll pull up the map here and we will zoom out. Okay, well, that's zoomed out a little too far, but but you can see that's Lake Michigan right there. All right, I have to remember not to hit the numerical keypad. It's a habit. Let's get moving. Let's not move that quickly. Now, yes, it is very difficult to try to figure out where runways are because of how all this is kind of flat. So that's where you use your map and kind of zoom in, not zoom out. There are no taxiways on this. So we'll kind of move over here. And that sound is not part of the simulator. That's part of my phone. That does not look like the airport. I think that's the city. There's the runway. Oh, you know, we were going to the city of Benton Harbor. We're just driving over there, so. Ah, yes. Old times. Use the runways as your taxiway. Now remember, folks, this is not a Cessna. This is a Piper. I think what is it? Piper PA 35 or something like that. Okay. We've reached the end. Spacebar is break, I think. So yes, this is being live streamed on a Thursday. So pretty much, I was trying to decide what am I going to do for schedules. I mean, I can't do the same time due to life situations, but I can dedicate certain days to certain things. And I figure, hey, why not match what I'm doing on YouTube? So Throwback Thursday on YouTube would be Throwback Thursday on Twitch. That gives me the opportunity to film all the footage that I need in order to put together my episodes and open up the possibility for you guys to join me on this stream and on the video and get shout outs and all that other cool stuff. And plus you get to interact with me. I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that? How many people do that anyway? I mean, sometimes they just do live streams and that's it. But no, not on here on KILR TV because we are KILR. That's why. Okay. Ah, that's right. T and B are the elevators. R and whatever's next to B is the trim. It's like, where's the trim? I'm like, oh, that's the trim. All right, we're up in the air. Well, wait, no, we're not up in the air. What am I talking about? I don't know. I know we're going to try to stay on this runway. Well, that's not quite what I wanted to do. Let's get ourselves turned to 076 here. Try not to stall. I'm trying to give us some altitude here. Oh, I did not sync my gyro compass and my magnetic compass, so poor planning on my part. But you know, that road there may go to Battle Creek, so we could do some VFR. Oh, actually, you know what? We're kind of heading on that. We're kind of heading on the heading where we want to be at. Because look at the needle for the OBI. Ah, crap. Apparently we... Is it D? There we go. You have to hit Tab D in order to sync that gyro compass. It's not just D, it's Tab D. Okay. That's not a bad heading. Let's go ahead and put our throttle down here. We'll try to level off somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500. I don't like flying very high on Commodore 64. Well, Flight Simulator for the C64. And there really is no sense on doing that, because the terrain is flat. It does change altitude, but it's kind of funky how it does it. Yep, this road goes to Battle Creek. Let's do a coordinated turn here. There we go. Okay, I think we are doing okay at the moment. Gonna lower my trim a little bit. That might have been too much. It tends to get a little weird. I mean, you can see... Is my mouse here? Yeah, you can see my mouse. Which is not a Commodore 64 thing. you can see how the vertical speed indicator here, was that VSI? Yeah. Just bare movements, and this thing kind of swings up and swings down. So you got to be very careful on how you do this. So it is 8:31 in the morning as we are flying to Battle Creek, Michigan. Did you guys ever think we would go to Battle Creek, Michigan on the Commodore 64? But nobody thought that. Okay, do you see what it's doing? Okay, it's starting to go back up again. Just a tad. Yeah, I've got my whole flight plan figured out. I've got the whole thing written out. I'm really hoping that I'll actually be able to make the whole flight plan. Obviously, it's not going to be, a World War tour. World Tour, because we can't fly across the world on this. But we can go to Europe. Because there's the Western European scenery discs. And plus there's Japan and Hawaii. So, to make things simple, we just call it the World Tour, as opposed to the United States, Europe, Hawaii, Japan tour. And parts of Canada. Just call it a World Tour. Hey, it's on the world, right? I mean, we're flying. I never said it was around the World Tour. It is just the World Tour. And we are flying over the world, not across the world. Well, we are kind of flying across the world, but like I said, we're not flying around the world. So is this false advertising? No, it is not false advertising at all. It is just how you manage to see things. Okay, so as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, it is a point of view. A certain point of view, that's what he said. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the wise Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh. I'm hoping some people will join me on a live stream and chat with me. Not a whole lot of people are going to be interested, I don't think, in watching an old flight simulator for Commodore 64. At least on Twitch. I mean, I know there is interest on YouTube. And I did do, I'm over on Vlare also. VLARE. I am over there. And I've got some different videos over there. And I got a couple of flight sim videos over there, but they're not really hitting it off. I get more views on my Minecraft stuff over there. Sorta. There are certain ones that get views, and there are others that don't get any views at all. Oh, you can see the road. We are following the road to Benton Harbor. Now, when it comes to flying the Commodore 64, I can do maybe 3 or 4 flights, one after the other. But after a bit, it starts to get a little tiring. Why do I get this feeling that it just froze on me? Because it did! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It froze. Oh, no, it didn't. There it goes. Oh, thank goodness. It must have been loading in some scenery or something. This is VFR scenery at its finest. The most greenest landscape you could possibly see, and the most bluest skies you could possibly experience. No clouds whatsoever. Ugh. And we're somewhat leveled out a little bit. Okay, now our ILS, remember, is 110.523. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we're close for the ATIS now. That might explain why we had a bit of a pause. Okay, maybe not. Alright, well, I'm going to change that. Oh, that looks like Benton Harbor up there. Not that. Battle Creek. They both start with B. Now, if you wanted to, you can check on a real aviation map, and that's airnav.com, and you can look up the Battle Creek VOR, and you'll should be able to see it as 109.4. I don't think they really change. And I have no reason to mislead you guys as far as flying in some different area and saying it's something else. I'm doing this because I flew it back in the 80s and I want to relive the experience all over again. I'm not hitting as many airports as I did back then. I actually did some long flights where actually I had it. There's no autopilot on this, but I just had it, going, and I guess I watched TV or something. Our family Commodore 64 is in the same room as the television, so I could let that go and, oh, I don't know, watch TV or do homework or something. "27 miles. We'll start our descent here. Now I'm wondering, with the retro Commodore 64 that has come out, if it has Flight Simulator 2 or not. It probably, if it does have Flight Simulator 2, I doubt it has the scenery discs. But I do believe it has a USB slot. So you could load up images of Flight Sim and the scenery discs and be able to have that retro experience. And well, if you want to get the whole, the real experience, you get yourself a real Commodore 64 and a noisy 1541 disk drive. And pray that your discs all still work. But after all this time, I don't think I would want to use the discs, because the more you use them, or even after time, I think they start to go bad. So we've mentioned on previous flights that whenever there's an ILS, we want to try to land on it, or land with it. Because there's not many of these airports that do have an ILS. Huh. The ATIS is right. It just doesn't want to tune in. Now we can control our fuel too. You may notice the fuel here. It's going down on the left tank. So we may want to even things out here. So tab F. And the lesser than, greater than sign, where they're going to point either left or right. We just hit the right one, and boom, now we're on the right tank. So if altitude is at 900, then we're about 2,000 above ground level. That's not too bad. This over here might be the airport. I'm thinking, yeah, it is. I just saw a line over here. That is the airport. Let's go ahead and make our way over here. So we're going to go ahead and pass the airport. And we'll come back around. I'm curious if the ILS is going to work. We're going to tune that into nav2 and just see if something tunes in. So with that, we want to do tab in and the number 2. And then we can use, again, you know, the greater than, less than sign. The ILS is 110.5. So here again, tab in. Since we're already on 2, is going to allow us to change it. Oh, there it is. All right, so 110.5. We're not tuned into anything, it looks like. But let's go ahead and tune in the OBS, or change the OBS to 230, which is going to be the heading. So that's going to be tab V2. And you can see how that's changing there. So we'll change that. Just hold it down, change it to 230. Because sometimes if you had a certain heading, it's off. So yeah, that's definitely the airport. That is Benton Harbor. And I think this runway is runway 23, maybe? Oh, look. You just tuned in. Okay, cool. Alright, so tab in 1. Let's change that to 110 point. Not that one. Okay, awesome. Okay. Tab V1. And we'll change this to 230. Helps if I pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright, let's turn here. That doesn't seem to be the right way, does it? Where is that runway? Because we're at a heading of 262. Aha! It's this one, right there. That's our ILS runway, so we need to head this way. Of course, at 120 knots, we might want to slow down a little bit, so let's drop a thing of flaps here. Alright, that brought our speed down to 100? 90? 80? We can go ahead and take a look out. Oop, what's that there? I think that's the city. Alright, so 5F. We can start looking out the... Whoa, where's the runway at? This is where we got to use our map here. Ah, there it is. don't want to be going from, I want to be going to. Why is that from? Should be to. Unless that wasn't the airport. That may have not been the airport. Because look at this. We're still heading towards it. It's going down. That might have been Kalamazoo. I'm looking at the map. I think that was Kalamazoo. Yeah, and that had 3 runways. That's what that was. That was not WK Kellogg. That was not Battle Creek. But the airport is close. Let's change the OBS on, or OBI. I don't know. I've seen it called 2 different things on the number 2, and we'll select that for from. See if we can get a heading where we should be going here. So a heading is 7-8 or close to it. Miles. We should be able to see that airport. That's it. That's it. Okay, we found our airport. And we're still maintaining around 3,000 feet. Got a message on my phone. I wonder what it is. That's our Battle Creek right there. 100 knots. We're coming in at a pretty decent speed, I think. You know, when we get to the point where we fly to Europe, I'm not sure how we would do that. We might switch over to Jet, the Sublogic Jet, and use that to get to Europe, because it would just... it would take a bit. And Jet uses the same scenery discs, so trying to do a world tour with Jet, I mean, you're going to see the same thing, just faster. But I think we can use Jet for certain types of flights. Alright, 5 miles. Let's go ahead and get this puppy turned here. We'll come over on this side. Go out about 10 miles and see if we can't capture that ILS. This is a little bit longer of a flight than what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a short flight. We can look out the window and see the airport. This does get a little bit hard on the eyes. I think it's mainly because you're straining to see the runways with all those jagged lines. Here we go. There's our beautiful airport there. Look at that. It's got taxiways also. It even has a fuel box. I'm not sure where, but it does have one. Take a look at the map here, and there it is. See that? we'll put it out like that. Now, if I were to go ahead and show you the map here, let's see here, right there. Here it is. So you can see, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the shape of the runways there, and that's what we saw, or that's what we just saw. So that is Battle Creek. What I was curious, oh, you know what? Yeah, Battle Creek. I think it was this right there. I thought it was. See that was Kalamazoo. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't in the right spot. So do you think our ATIS now works? Let's see. There it is. WK Kellogg Regional Information Tango 1400 Zulu, visibility 10, temperature 55, altimeter 29.95, and that all disappeared. It wants us to land on runway 5. Now we're going to use the ILS because we're in control of the situation. There's the airport back there. So what we could do is when the vertical, the glide slope indicator comes up just above the center, I think we can go ahead and turn and try and capture that. Then we should be able to get ourselves on a good glide slope. Ooh. I was just doing a tab B, making sure that our altimeter is at the right height. Should we sing some campfire songs while we're waiting? Anyone know some good campfire songs? Oh, hey, I see some movement. I saw the glide slope start to move up. So we are just about ready to turn and land at WK Kellogg. The numerical keypad is not going to help me here. Neither is the tab key. Let's see. Okay, so our airport is right back here. This little white blob. Okay, our glide slope is nearly centered. We'll just wait for it to go up just a little bit above that, and then we'll go ahead and turn, and we'll line up with runway 23 and bring her on down. It's funny, when I was playing this back when I was a teenager, when there was a ILS, I got so excited. I'm like, oh cool, there's an ILS that I can use and line up with and stuff. I had a little easier time landing with ILS and lining up with runways, because it's really hard to see that with all the jagged lines. And, well, not every airport on the Commodore 64 has ILS runways on the scenery discs. About 8-9 miles. That's not too bad. I think we can make our turn. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and make that turn. That might be a little too steep of a turn. Whoa, 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 whoa. Turn back the other way. Okay, so we know the airport. We see it right over there. Got our glide slope. That'll help us control our altitude. We'll know what to do. This is where I start using the rudder. On these old simulators, I use uncoordinated flight, so that way I can make use of the rudders. It's a lot easier when trying to line up and trying to turn. Okay, that is a little too much there. Here, let's kind of move it over here. Help if I use the right key. Okay, we're just about on the glide slope. Let's drop another thing of flaps. And we are getting ready. 6.8 miles from the airport. What just happened to the ILS, or the glide slope? That looks like that disappeared off the screen. Or is it centered and I just don't see it? We're going to lower our power here. You can see the runway. You might be able to see it. There's a little diagonal line right there. That's what we're going to be lining up with. So we should be able to see this needle start to move here soon. Start to get ourselves turned here. Yeah, I just saw it move. I just saw it move. We'll lower some more power here. Oh, we are centered. I just saw it move. There it is, right there. Not centered. Well, yeah, the glide slope. Oh, cool. We're getting ourselves lined up here, folks. There's the outer marker. Drop that other thing of flaps there. Oh, too much. Too much. Back. This is getting a little hard to control here. Come on, baby. Do me right. Runway's right there. Pull out of that turn there. A little too low. Just add some power here. Is it me, or is that ILS doesn't seem like it's lined up perfectly? Or the runway? Well, whatever. One of the two. But we're coming in. We are coming in. Full flaps. Glide slope is looking good. This is where I'm using the rudder here. No retractable landing gear. We're good there. Middle marker. Here he comes. Move just a little bit. Runway 23. Try not to crash. Got it! We are down! We have landed. Okay, let's break this sucker here. Okay, let's see if we can find the fuel box here. Now, one thing you don't want to make the mistake of is when you're... Oh, I see it. It's just to the left of us. I think. There's something over here, too. But I saw something over here. Maybe this has got two of them. I don't know. When you're using the map, be sure that you're not using the plus-minus key. Because if you do, one of those, I think it's the plus one, will take you right back to Megs. And you kind of don't want that. So maybe you do. Maybe you do. I don't know. But we don't. We've already been there. Twice. 3 times, actually. Well, we started off there. We did a touch and go. And then we flew past it when we were going over Lake Michigan. My goodness. Oh, let's raise the flaps here. I'm trying to turn ourselves onto the taxiway. That's not a taxiway. That's a runway. I'm pretty sure that's a runway. Okay, well, we kind of passed it, but... Get that trim back down. Not exactly easy trying to taxi this thing around. Okay, I think that might be the fuel box, because I definitely don't see anything there. Alright, so we'll just take this runway and go to the end of it then. We want to get some fuel. Too much power. It's so easy to get off the runway with this. It's like you have to keep it around like 5 or 10 knots or something. So yeah, we'll just head right over here to the end of the runway, make a right, and we should see the fuel box. One of my viewers had recommended that I turn up the speed. Oh, hey, someone, stukapt. Hey, stukapt. How are you? Thank you for joining the KILR community. Yes, some fun retro flights here. There's our fuel box. Literally. It's like a soapbox. Hello, good evening to you. How is everything going? We are just now landing. Well, we are landed in Battle Creek, Michigan. We're at WK Kellogg, which I don't believe is called that anymore. But it was in Sublogic Flight Simulator 2. You can actually get this flight simulator if you look up some Commodore 64 sites. You should be able to find some images of this along with the scenery discs. As far as the emulator itself, what I use is C64 version 3.9. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Of course you're awesome, and you're killer because you watch Killer TV. But anyways, if you haven't subscribed, be sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, so that way you know when the next video is going to be uploaded to the channel. And I do more than just Sublogic Flight Simulator 2. I also do the Amiga version, and I do the Microsoft versions. They all follow the same route. Well, until Flight Simulator 4, and then they kind of go in a different direction, because 3 and earlier doesn't have the same coverage. But this gives you a chance to compare all these different flights with the different simulators. Something that no one else has really done. So be sure to subscribe, so that way you get notified, and check out the stuff that's on the channel. There is a ton of stuff. I think I'm pushing at about 1,000 videos at the time of this recording. So there's a lot of material on here. I keep things family friendly. I don't use any language or anything like that. So if you want to sit down and watch with your family, absolutely go ahead. It's safe. This is a safe channel to do that. And if you like live streams and interaction, head over to Twitch. I'm on Twitch. I do live streams on a pretty much a regular basis. At least I try to. And follow me over there. It's twitch.tv/KillerGamer. You'll be able to see this stuff before I even edit it into episodes. Because I'll be recording the actual footage that I'm doing for episodes. I'll be live streaming that, giving people like yourself a chance to come over and join the live stream and interact with me and chat and give you a shout out and all that good stuff. So essentially, you get to be part of the show. How cool is that? And then, of course, I'm on social media, Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat if you're into that type of thing. I don't really do much with Snapchat, but it's there. If people start following me, I'll be a little bit more inspired to maybe do a few more things with it. I'll try to do some stuff with it, but I don't know if there's much interest in Snapchat anymore. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, all that's going on. If you'd like to support me in what I do have a Patreon account, and there's some nice bonuses there. So go and check that out also. You might be interested in some of those bonuses, and I appreciate whatever support that you give. And if you can't afford anything, that's okay. No pressure. I'm just glad that you're here. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care and have a killer awesome day.